Miami was the
Okay.
first city to claim alliance with the city coin. Now there's like 4 cities in the country that are doing it, and I think there's going to be a lot more behind it. What causes a city to be the first one to say yes to that? Why do you think it's our city that did that?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, I tell this people a story all the time. So in the 1920s, when the Great Depression happened, Miami was one of the few cities that did very well during that time. Now, here we are 100 years later, 2020, we're in some type of downfall. And I truly think Miami is just, it just is, we're one of the cities that is going to continue to do well during this time. Everything is cyclical, right? I would say another thing is, at the Blockchain Center, myself, Nick Spanos, Scott Spiegel, those were my business partners in opening it. And we had created marketing material back in 2018 that said Miami was the crypto capital of the Americas. And that time it wasn't even true.
Wait, that's not, I didn't coin that phrase. Somebody else did. Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead.
I think you said crypto capital of the world, but we specifically said crypto capital of the Americas. And it was just interesting because it really wasn't true. But then I had some professors come down from Canada and they said that their team of researchers, they were researching and they said that Miami is the crypto capital of the Americas. But it really wasn't true. It was that we were just putting out all of this material, all of this SEO, and we called it into existence. This is what I'm talking about, creating opportunity, right? The opportunity was not there, but we created it. And now housing prices have gone up in Miami because all the crypto people are moving here, right?
Insane. Yes.
And it's a good problem to have. But at the same time, it's like, I think that this is what it was meant to be, right? Even the place where we had the Blockchain Center was on Flagler Street. If you know anything about Miami, Flagler Street is the first street in Miami. From there, it goes one south, one north, one east, really one west, right? So that is where, coincidentally, we had the Blockchain Center. So there's just a lot of things that I feel like really is the timing. And then, what makes a city the first one? It was that for me, my strategy was I saw that there was a young, vibrant community in the city, people constantly showing up. Every single time they would, take the train down from West Palm just to meet with the like minds. And for me, the reason why when I started doing events, it was just I wanted to meet people who thought like me. I wanted to meet my tribe, my crowd of people. But then my strategy really was, let's involve the local government. So getting the Downtown Development Authority, the Beacon Council, the mayor's office, getting all those organizations involved when Bitcoin was low. I think that was really instrumental. And then it was also the fact that we would just run education. It was like, come in, free education. You want a wallet, go to this back room, you'll leave with a wallet. It was in English and in Spanish, right? And so there was that real guerrilla education that was going on. People could come to a physical location. We had 4 ATMs on the wall so people could see, wow, Bitcoin ATMs are real and there's options. And they would just sit next to each other and people could, pick to use whichever one they wanted. Also too, Miami's demographic is interesting because it is very, very Latin here, right? Spanish is the main language. And a lot of people are first or second generation Americans. And the reason why is because they saw their home country in Latin America, they saw their home country fall because their fiat currency failed. So when you look at people here, we understand it from a needs-based perspective. I think the number one Venezuela is the number one city in the world where Bitcoin is truly adopted. And Miami is also the number one place for Venezuelan refugees to come. So I think it was just that understanding internationally why we need a form of money that's outside of the control of our government-controlled fiat currency, for one. For two, it's the timing. We've been here before. Miami specifically has been here before 100 years ago. We did well 100 years later. We're going to do well. And then I just am so thankful that I get to play a part in all of it. So